Hello and welcome to the podcast, everybody. As Belinda Carlisle famously said in her chart-topping 1987 hit, Heaven is a Place on Earth. Ooh, baby, do you know what that's worth? Ooh, heaven is a place on earth. They say in heaven that love comes first. Well, we'll make heaven a place on earth. And I'd say we've managed to make a little slice of heaven with this podcast. Sure! With this only being our 4th episode, it's a bold claim. And sure, you do need to choose to ignore the comments on our Instagram and TikTok. But if you just consider us two, your little cheeky cherubs, looking on from up high and having a little giggle, then all we have to say to you is, you are welcome. Come on in. The water's lovely and the chat is free. Welcome to the podcast.
God, what a scene you painted. It's weirdly abstract, that, wasn't it?
Wasn't it?
But there's a great... So in the Always album, Always, Blue Rev, my favourite album, natural position to put the phone on there. That's really one for the YouTubers. They have a song called Belinda Says, and it's got a mention of Belinda Carlisle's Heaven is a Place on Earth in it.
I've just had the song in my head all day, and I thought the intro is going to be about Belinda Carlisle.
I love it.
Number 1.
When?
1987.
Oh, he loves a quiz.
1987, number 1 in the UK, lasted for 2 weeks.
And it was. Did Belinda Carlisle have any other hits? Was she a bit of a one-hit wonder? Come on, Wikipedia.
I don't know. I don't know, but how are you?
I'm all right, thank you. Yes, I'm good. I'm going to get into the world of food prep this week.
Yes?
I'm going to become a food prepper. Not like a prepper, but like a food prepper.
You've always been, famously we can't talk about the fact that you like to cook when we've criticised Greg Wallace.
Yes, but I do love to cook.
But you do love to cook.
It's my favourite thing.
With that, what are you prepping? I've always actually... Sorry.
Sorry. So sorry.
I've always thought you would be a prepper.
So I cook in batch, sure, but I don't meal prep.
Okay, so you would make a bean chili and you'd have it 3 times in a row.
And you're like, I've got it for 3. Whereas this time I'm thinking, right, let's work out my meals. Let's get the right food in. Let's have one day where I fucking smash through it and then batch everything in order to give myself like a week of not having to cook sort of in the evenings.
In the freezer.
So bit of freezer action, bit of fridge action. Split it up.
My advice to you, and this is osmosis advice from my partner, label it. Get yourself a label.
Labeler.
Label it.
I need to label myself.
Because if you label it, God, because I've got a good memory, I always think, I'll pop it in the freezer and I'll remember what it is.
Yeah, you remember the shape of the food that you put in?
You sort of remember the vibe, don't you?
Yeah, that's kind of the bits over there and the rice over there. Why you'd be freezing rice, I don't know.
Well,
you may do, because you fucking love an egg fried rice.
I wouldn't be freezing rice. But, so, label it. And my partner, she is wonderful, but has a very strict policy on 1 in, 1 out.
Oh, I love... You are so made for each other, you
two. That's another great tip. It's a 1 in, 1 out policy. That's not what I wanted to say.
What cooking?
What food is going to be number 1 on the list?
So I've got... lentil dal is a great job because it's really... but also because I'm a bit of a gym bro now, as everyone now knows. I'm entering my hunk era. Very important for me to start sort of prepping in a way where I get the right gains in. So I need to look at my protein.
Right.
I'm trying to make this a way of balancing out my diet as well a little bit so that I've got good fibre action. Mm-hmm. So I'm not constipated.
I like the way that you're doing it on your fingers.
That's important.
Yeah.
Yes, I think I want to just see what food works best for my body. So I don't know. I'm feeling that's this week's plan. I'm gonna dare I say it, I'm gonna look on Ocado. I'm gonna order a load of stuff in. I'm gonna see how that goes.
On Ocado?
Yeah, I love Ocado.
Really?
Yeah.
Is that because they deliver?
It's because you can get M&S and you can't really get that in Crystal Palace.
Yes, M&S is a treat. I moved away from somewhere that had an M&S.
Also, it forces me to think about what I'm gonna eat. So then I plan. It helps me plan.
Because otherwise, you're ordering it to be delivered.
If you're sort of just going in bareback to Sainsbury's hoping for the best, you never know what you're going to come out with.
They always say it's a risk, don't they? Going into a supermarket and not sort of knowing.
You're not knowing because you let hunger decide for you, and then all of a sudden you're eating shit again.
Well, it's like me today. I've had a pizza and we're going to have a curry.
We're going to have a curry. Pizza and a curry day.
It's kind of like we're on a stag do.
Pizza and curry day. Why have one fast food when you can have 2?
Mate, the pizza had a mushroom on it and the curry will have a pea in it. I'm covered.
Yeah, well, hopefully not pea. as in piss.
Yes,
that's
no,
what I meant.
it.
Yeah.
I got it.
Anyway,
I reckon that's that. I reckon we call it.
Really silenced.
I reckon we call it.
We were flying then. We were in full motion, and I ruined it.
That's
ruined
on
it.
You.
Yeah.
That's on you. I think that I know we agreed last week to talk about my phones.
Yes.
Now, I am going to set this up briefly.
You want to set this up?
I'm going to set this up briefly, and then I'm going to throw to you, and it's going to be uninterrupted for you to say what you want. I would just like to say to everybody, I like both old phones, and by old phones, I mean phones that were just phones, before the iPhone, the invention of the mobile phone, up to the iPhone, and I now like things that are known as dumb phones or transition devices. That is something that interests me.
Transition devices.
That is something I like. I'm going to throw to you. You can say what you like, and I will not talk back. I mean, that's not a promise.
No, you will, and I know you. So for the listeners, Emslie, a while ago, was like, I am sick of looking at my phone. I am sick of looking at my phone, and I want to get a new phone. I want to get a new phone that means I won't look at it so much. A noble idea. I think we all agree that's noble. And it was one of those really shit phones that people will look at and go, I'm never going to own one. But you were like, yeah, maybe because it's black and white and it's not gonna entice me to use it, I won't use it. And what you then ended up doing, you saw it, you used it maybe for a few weeks, realised WhatsApp didn't work very well on it, and then bought a new phone. To say, right, this is the transition phone. This is the phone where I'm not going to use as many phones. And then that one died on its ass too. And then there was another one that came in. All of a sudden, you started with one phone that you used semi-regularly. Now, you're juggling 4 different phones. You're like, I don't know what secrets you're trying to hide. Are you in the mafia? I don't know. But all it does is that you were just... And also, your smartphone that you have is also shit. Update it. It loses battery in about 4 or 5 minutes. Update your phones. Just stop trying to live life without screens and commit. That's my case, Your Honour.
I have a point that I'd like to say that you didn't address in that, of when I started to get more phones. Did I or did I not have a YouTube channel that unboxed, constructed...
After you had tried, this has got to be 5th phone in is when you started to go, do you know what? I'm going to start a YouTube channel where I collect rubbish phones.
Second phone.
You said to me the other day, without a hint of irony, going, I saw my old phone the other day and I got emotional.
Yes.
No one gets emotional about old phones.
Mate, have you owned a Sagem MYV65?
No, but I've owned a Motorola Razr.
And how the hell, if you pick that up now... Doesn't that bring memories flooding back?
Bring back memories. There was never any memory on the fucking thing. It was
very good, very good.
Very, very looks over substance. That phone.
But wasn't that a fucking wonderful time? You know what?
So what do you reminisce over? What's the thing that makes you feel?
I fully accept that part of my. The lure of those old phones for me is the fact that there's the nostalgification of the fact that it was a phone and that was it.
Do you also think that there was... Because it came in so many different formats. Remember the ones that slid?
Yeah. The Samsung chocolate.
Sorry, I ate...
the LG chocolate phone.
Yes, where it sort of slid open and you had the BlackBerry, which was impossible to do any form of typing on because you would make so many mistakes because the buttons are tiny. And
I will not have a bad word said about BlackBerry.
I bet you wouldn't.
I had a BlackBerry up to university in 2014. It was... I even had it coming out. I loved... If I could still use a BlackBerry now and have a QWERTY keyboard on a phone... that would be my phone.
That would be your dream.
That would be my absolute dream. I really...
Don't you what you do on a smartphone? You have a QWERTY keyboard.
Well, a physical QWERTY keyboard. A physical QWERTY keyboard. I loved it. How could you not love at your school?
For the listener, he's got so excited that he almost came.
How could you not love? You had your phone under the table, your BlackBerry, and you knew what you were typing just by bang, done.
Well, my phone knows what I'm typing before I do now. I'm all right with that. I'd rather it knew what I was about to say.
I tell you what. Here's one thing that I will test. not test you with, but have you got your phone to hand?
No, it's filming one of us.
Filming.
It's one of the many camera angles that we got. I know.
I was going to say, would you, if you had your phone to hand, would you be willing to load up your screen time and announce that?
Absolutely not.
Exactly.
Because my screen time would be 23.5 hours somehow every day.
But I think it's so interesting when I will talk about I'd like to reduce my screen time because I don't love that my phone now does everything. I personally think that's a problem. I don't like that. But whenever you say to somebody about that, they go, that's a great idea. And then if you go, oh, what's your screen time? They go, I don't want to know. I'm not interested in and I find that so interesting. My screen time, 2 hours, 4 minutes.
Why they even started calculating it makes me sad. When you get the other thing I really hate is the sound notifications you get on that going, you're listening to that too loud. I'll do what I want, actually. Thank you, mum. And then you put the phone down and then you go, ignore.
But was there not something you loved about being a kid and having a phone, and it was just a phone, and at night maybe it didn't come into your bedroom, or maybe it was in your bedroom, but it was switched off. I didn't care.
So I don't miss that at all.
You don't.
I do agree that phones have become a bit too entrenched in everyone's lives, and we're all staring at them too much. Completely agree with that. I would love there to be a way where we all just get bored of them, but they just get so much better with time.
Modern phones are brilliant, and obviously everybody who's on your modern phone, please do like and subscribe.
Yeah, like and subscribe.
But modern phones are brilliant. There is no denying that. I just love the time where phones were phones, digital cameras were cameras, sat-navs were sat-navs. Everything had one purpose, and everything did its one purpose really well.
Do you know what I like? And I think
something that does everything. You can watch it.
No, I think because of my design background, because for the listeners, I'm a UI designer by trade, so I design interfaces for phones and stuff like that.
Yeah. And
I think the modernization of phones gives you so much scope and so much flexibility to what you can do that you wouldn't have with an older phone. And there's a part of me that sort of gets excited by the way it looks and the interfaces look and the sort of how that develops. For me, that's exciting. Whereas I think back to like the older interfaces and I think, oh, I'm so glad we don't have that anymore.
Oh, I love them. So here's a question for you. If I'm looking at a transition device, which I've got plenty.
Do you want to describe what that is for people, just in case that it isn't as obvious?
Sure.
As the other fucking thickos who love dumb phones and watch your fucking YouTube channel.
Hey, mate. There's a few of them.
Yeah.
Lovely, wonderful people.
Yes.
A dumb phone is if you think back to your Nokia 3310, and I'm not saying it has to be a black and white screen, but it doesn't have any other features than SMS, call, alarm, things like that. Very simple.
That helps your day-to-day life.
Well, but why can't that help you? Just because we've all moved to WhatsApp and we need internet.
We're all going to have 5 or 6 different devices in our house. We need an alarm clock back.
ring that. And then, so a transition device would be something that is potentially possible to download and install apps on it. So you can I've got a flip phone that is a flip phone. It's called the Cat.
Actually uses door hinges.
It's called the Cat S22 Flip. That runs a version
is it
of
indestructible?
Yes, that runs a version of Android Go, so you can download WhatsApp and stuff onto it.
I didn't even know Android Go was a thing.
Yeah, it's like a stripped down version of Android. You also have e-ink devices. So they have an e-ink screen similar to a Kobo. They can run off Android 11 is one that I've got at the moment.
I feel like I've subscribed.
I was going to say, you're going to hate the fact. A transition device is one that allows you to download apps.
Yeah.
However, there's sort of a way in which
this was going to be a shorter answer.
There's a way in which it curbs your usage, mate.
Okay. Good. I feel like I got the long answer when really what I was looking for. It's the phone that takes you away from smartphone, one step closer to shit phone, but also without having to. So basically, you're trying to remove usage, aren't you? The usage.
Well, lower usage, and I'm not. I know that phones are brilliant nowadays. That's not in question. You slagged off my iPhone 10.
Yeah, awful. Get with the program.
But why?
Brother.
Why?
You're up to date with everything else. You're also someone who isn't afraid of a purchase.
Yeah.
I just don't get it. I get liking old phones.
Yeah.
But I don't get why you wouldn't have a good phone anyway. To go, I get it for your YouTube channel. Great. Sale. preach to your fellow thickos.
No, stop calling them that.
Sorry, your dumb phone family. Fine, do that, but have a phone that works, mate.
It does work.
Yeah?
Yeah.
And
the back's cracked, and I've always been.
You've always been backsacking crack with phones.
I've always been very careful, and I dropped it trying to put it into a pocket, and I just thought, I don't care about
If
this.
you drop the cat phone, the earth broke.
Yeah, no, that is a good phone. I've dropped that a few times. There's a phone now whereby it is a Google Pixel phone, so one of the more modern phones, but it's running a specific operating system that some lads in America have designed that you can only download apps that are considered...
This is the only time those people would ever be described as lads.
Yeah. Very nice chaps. I was on a call with them the other day because we were talking about the device, and they went to me, they went, so what, how old are you? Like, 25? And I was like, oh lads. I was like, I'm 33.
Oh, the flirts.
But anyway, would you accept that as a device?
I'd accept that as a compliment. I'd love to be called 25.
A modern phone, but only allows you to download things that can be used for educational purposes. Two-factor authentication, city mapper, things along those lines. National rail banking apps.
No, I want a phone that can do everything.
So the fact that your phone needs to have Instagram, it's also not able to access the internet. So you search.
No.
Sorry, that's not true. It doesn't.
What, it's on WAP?
No, it doesn't.
WAP2WX or whatever it was.
It doesn't have a browser.
A WAPy phone.
It doesn't have a browser. So you search in this search and you click web search, and that is your only connection. So I could type in Fulham's recent scores, and using AI, it grabs
It
all
will
the
say Raul Jimenez has scored.
Does that intrigue you?
No.
No.
None of it does.
Well, you're not.
Just give me a good phone that does my... I can't wait for Siri to integrate with ChatGPT, which by the time of potentially release, it might have already happened.
You sort of sit there. It was really interesting today because we were working in the same house. It was really interesting hearing you occasionally click ChatGPT and be like, how do I change my setting on my phone? Oh. And I was like, this prick needs my channel.
Settings on my MacBook, thank you.
How do I change my name on my AirDrop?
Ask ChatGPT and it will tell you. And it also tells you in a creepily sort of like conversational way now.
It does.
Like it actually listens to you back and you can just have a chat with it.
Well, don't. You don't.
Why?
You don't do that, do you?
No. Might have had a chat about how I was feeling the other day and how to stop being so low in an evening and seeing what it said.
What did it say?
It sort of just told me to go for more walks and eat something that made me feel good. Anyway, it's by the by, but yeah, you can ask anything really. Apart from anything pornographic, really hates the porn.
Of course it does.
Oh, you've got to test it. Sorry.
I just found it really funny that occasionally on my AirDrop on my Mac, how do I change my name to everybody? And I don't think you knew that I'd heard it.
No, I didn't even get the answer.
Of course.
ChatGPT there was very boring. There was some specific security things on this MacBook that I can't now access. Anyway, it's all fine. It's all lovely fine.
So you would like a seamless experience from asking it something basically asking something on your Mac that tells your phone. I'm
now getting frustrated with Siri and she who shall not be named because she will pipe up, but Amazon's version of Siri. Mm-hmm. I get annoyed with how robotic they are now when you have chatted to GPT. Because GPT will listen, it'll go, oh, sorry, I got that wrong. Fuck.
Do you pay for it?
Yeah.
Oh,
I pay for it because I did a specific data analysis that I needed it to generate.
When you were chatting to Alexa,
yeah,
we're saying that quietly because he's got
one right next
to us. You were saying it earlier. You were saying, name... set my lights to 3.
Yeah.
And I just waited and I thought, this isn't going to...
No, it didn't work.
Set my lights to bright. And I thought, click the fucking switch, mate.
No, because it was all via my phone. Which, to be fair, I couldn't be bothered to open up the app.
That is a problem. You disgust me.
I genuinely don't think I've ever upset you more.
That is a problem that didn't exist.
What?
When have you ever needed to...
It is so useful when you just get in and you're tired and you've been on a 4-hour drive from a gig that you hated, and then you come back and you just go, oh, Alexa, put on the lights, and then it's all just there and sorted.
But while you're saying that, you're stood next to a light switch.
Yeah, but that's the big light. We don't want to put the big lights on. Put the Philips Hue ones on. Got to get the Philips Hue on.
But it feels like it's a problem.
I am just a man who likes to spend over £60 on a light bulb.
But it feels like it's a problem that doesn't exist.
You are desperate for the modern world not to continue and proceed. Do you not agree that there's efficiency there? There's an efficiency gain, and you're an efficiency man.
That's a very good point.
My blinds are automated. Everything is by a button in my house or via voice. Because I'm a geek and I like that stuff. That's one of my geeky things. I love all that technology stuff.
Yeah, you do.
I really love technology.
You have your lights. You like everything to be automated and set up. You like to chat to ChatGPT about why you're feeling so low.
Yes.
Why
don't you?
No. Your toilet seat...
Oh, it's the worst thing.
has been broken. Are you not a DIY boy?
No, I have ideas for DIY, but my idea is to marry someone who likes it.
Why has your toilet seat been broken for a year?
Yes, my mum and dad said that.
Do you need me to back you some money?
No, I can do it. I can do it. It's really easy to fix. It's just like one of those things that you just never get around to doing.
It's like when you sit on your toilet seat, it's like being on a roller coaster.
Yeah, and you should thank me.
It's horrible, and you think, I'm going to get caught in this.
I love it. I think it gives the flat character.
I think it's mad.
Yeah, I do need to get that sorted.
Yeah.
My everything else is fine. I do want to paint the hall. Gonna paint it black.
I'm just in black.
Yeah. I'm gonna paint the ceilings.
In your one bed, you're going to paint everything black?
No, just in the hallway and maybe the bathroom.
Like Bobby from Queer Eye.
Yeah, I just think dark colours work really well for quite cloudy grey spaces because there's not much daylight in that space.
Interesting.
I'm a designer. Let me live.
Let me design.
Let me design.
Let me
See
design.
my vision.
And you'll sit in your dark hallway chatting to ChatGPT.
Going, why is it so dark in
How
here?
do I fix a toilet seat?
How do I get better? How do I become happier? No, I'm very happy.
Dark colours, apparently.
Yeah, dark colours. Yeah. So there we go. That's my DIY.
I'm not a big DIYer either. But I did replace 2 door handles the other day.
Oh,
and I
look at him, old. What was the guy who used to do the DIY on? What was it? That show?
What was that?
Changing rooms. It was the handy.
Handy Andy.
Are you handy Andy?
No, God, I'm dog shit. But
I'm handy Andy.
But I replaced 2 door handles. Put them on the wrong way. So,
my door handles are fucked as well. I'm not sure if you've noticed in my bedroom there's one missing.
Yeah. So when I closed the door, the handles like hammered into the door frame, and I stood there for ages like, well, how the hell am I going to get this? Doesn't work. And then I was like, I'll close the door and then I'll re-put them on. And I was like, well, no, because then they'd be locked between. I figured it out. Just had to turn around the other way.
See, this is the thing that I feel like the boomer generation have nailed. Is just the not being good at DIY, just doing DIY.
Yeah.
Like, I would say my dad, love the guy. Wonderful. Very good at some things.
DIY?
Well, he's very good at some DIY jobs. Others, I think he just tries to get it done as quickly as possible. And I respect that.
Yeah, that's kind
because
of...
at least he's trying to do it.
That's kind of my approach. If I'll give it a go, and if it doesn't work, I'll just...
See, I go, yeah, really need to fix that. And then I go, I'll do that next weekend. Oh, I've got a good free weekend. And then that weekend will disappear.
Yeah.
And then I'll do that for pretty much all of 2024.
Yeah, not a big DIYer. I try, I do my best, and then if it doesn't work, fine.
Next year, I will get this stuff. I'll document it. I've got a new camera coming, so we're going to have better shots for this. We're going to have a really professional setup. But I'm going because maybe mid-year I'll do the tour. Mid-year, then I'll do all the DIY.
Quick tour update, quick tour chat.
Yeah,
how are we selling in Nottingham?
That's still on sale, and that is trickling up, really trickling up. Nottingham is on the trickle.
If we carry on at the same trajectory, by the time the show happens, there will be people there.
There will be 2 rows sold.
And how many rows is the venue?
I've got to say, there will be people at the tour. Don't feel like if you're buying tickets that you're the only people that are going to be there. There will be people there. I just would love there to be a lot more.
I'll be there.
Yeah, you'll be there.
I'm performing, but I'll sit in the audience
And
for the
you're the
next
tech.
bit if I need to.
And you're the tech.
And I'm the tech.
Yeah.
Well, we haven't talked about that in my fee.
No.
We haven't talked about that in my no fee that I'm getting.
Hey, you're going to get a fee depending on whether you guys come.
Oh, my
no.
fee is dependent on them.
Well, no, it's not. I've got a better ballpark figure. I also do need to just double, dot the I's, and I was gonna do the thick of it quote then, and fist the T's. I love that quote.
Yeah.
Dot the I's.
But let's
and
not
fist the
talk
T's.
about the thick of it. Let's talk about your tour.
Yeah, so my
briefly.
tour. So I made the decision to fully do it myself.
Mm-hmm.
So that is write the theme tune, sing the theme tune. Now, I wrote the show. Good. That's a good start.
Yeah.
I should write the show. Do all the design work for it. I did all the booking.
Mm-hmm.
I did all of the. I'm doing all of the PR myself.
Mm-hmm.
So in a bid to just see how much I could do myself, because all of this stuff costs thousands, and I'm doing it where it won't cost thousands. And in a way, because our industry, and we're not going to go too down the industry speak, but every year you'd take a punt on going to the Edinburgh Fringe and spend maybe 8 to 10 grand minimum on a show that would not make any of that back.
Well, some of it.
Well, you'd make some of
Yeah.
it back, but you really do make quite a substantial loss having done it a few
Yeah.
years ago and did my debut. And I thought there must be a more fun way. And unfortunately, the Edinburgh Fringe, although it was wonderful, it isn't something that is viable now, and it won't necessarily.
It's becoming less viable.
It's not something that for me would really help where I want to go with comedy, which is touring my own stuff.
And where you want to go is Nottingham.
And what I want to do is Nottingham and Falmouth. I've always said this. I want to do the Polly and Falmouth.
I think
That's
it's great.
my big dream. But a lovely venue, by the way. Very excited to be there. But I thought, let's do it something slightly different, where I'm not spending as much money, and I hopefully will do it myself.
Mm-hmm.
So having taken that all on myself, I am incredibly stressed about it.
Yeah.
And have been for most of this year.
You are a take everything on yourself sort of guy. But I think it's interesting because now you've done it. I appreciate you've not done the tour yet, but now you've done that side of it. Coming out of that, when you do your next tour, you're going to be able to say, well, this part of the job is worth the £1,000 that I'll pay them. This part isn't. I can do that myself. Or this part's really useful. I think it's super not important, but I think it is important. But it's really, really useful for you to have done that now. Yeah,
it's just I'm a very much. There's one thing you'll learn as the podcast progresses. I like to do everything myself.
Yes.
I don't like to spend money where I don't know what I'm going to get. And having done that with PR agencies, which are essentially daylight robbery, I'll happily say that it is daylight robbery.
Yeah.
What they give you in return is not going to help you.
Mm-hmm.
It might boost your ego with a pull quote from the Times or something like that, which it has, but that's all you're getting, and that's not going to sell you tickets. Whereas if you put that same money in a different way, it could sell you tickets.
Could sell tickets in Nottingham,
although not in Nottingham. But
that's going to be our phrase.
That's going to be
not
in Nottingham. Imagine if Nottingham sold out.
It'd be amazing.
And then we took our eyes off the ball of Norwich and Falmouth.
My few friends who lived in Nottingham have since moved, and they would have been shoo-ins, mate.
Get them to just have maybe you could double it up with a university hangout where they come and watch you, and then more importantly me afterwards.
Yes.
And we have a big night out or something, which we all love.
We have a big night.
Yeah, big night.
Yeah, I think we'll probably through this podcast have updates on the tour, and I think it's nice to find out and figure out where it's going.
Yes,
and I'll be there too.
And yes, as just for the listeners, Emslie will be my tour support throughout the tour.
Not
apart
London,
from London.
not London. To my friends who've already bought tickets to London.
Did they?
Yeah.
Oh, silly me.
No, it's fine.
No, unfortunately.
They can come and resent you for the whole show.
They're gonna have oh great. They're my TA. They get them and all the gays. No,
Yeah.
It's been really nice hearing people have bought tickets and people have got in touch. So I'm very grateful for the people that have done. And if you could just keep spreading the word and following along, that would be great. But yes, tour is coming. I'm excited about it. I'm glad that you're coming with me because you know my personality more than anyone else, and you'll be able to really deal with the ebbs and flows of a tour.
I'll be there for the highs. I'll be there for the lows.
And enough to talk about Nottingham.
And just remember, everyone, not in Nottingham.
Nottingham. Falmouth might need a bit of a push as well.
We will have a great time. I can't wait to.
If you're for some reason in Cornwall or Devon, do
head on.
go to that one.
Do come on over. Well, I think that's probably it for today.
Yes, I believe so. It was a lovely episode, wasn't it?
Very nice. I'm always happy to talk about phones, as was evidenced by the fact that I spoke.
We basically only spoke about phones and a bit of tour chat today.
Quite in depth about phones.
We talked about how long have we done? Just genuinely.
Yeah, I think probably about 35 minutes.
35 minutes. Wow.
Potentially.
Most of that's on. Most of that. Let's just check. Should we just have a look?
Yeah, I think
32 minutes.
32 minutes. Most of it on phones.
Most of it on phones. Wow.
Well, if you want 32 minutes on phones, do check out. Actually,
I'm so sorry, everyone.
Hang on. We got asked a question by was it Jordan or Victor on the What's Our Geeky Thing? It was,
yeah, our geeky stuff. We did a bit of geeky stuff.
And my geeky thing is phones. So surely this will be absolute delight
for one listener.
Yeah.
Who wanted to know more about sci-fi than phones. Let's face it.
So sorry about that.
So sorry, Victor.
I don't know anything about sci-fi.
No,
Not true. I've been reading Stephen King's novel, Mr. Mercedes, the Mr. Mercedes trilogy, and number 1 was good. Number 2 was better. Number 3 I found quite hard because it had some interesting bits in it. I think Stephen King is a sci-fi writer.
Is that your recommendation for the week? Because I realised we didn't do any recommendations last week.
My recommendation for the week. Is that my recommendation for the week? No, my recommendation for the week is just go and have a look at your old phones. Go and have a look at your old mobiles.
I would like to know if any of you guys think it's as mad and thick as I do.
That's not what I'd love. I'd love it if you went.
You'd love it. I'd love it if Emslie. Do just send direct DMs to Emslie on how you feel if you feel negatively.
Not negatively.
No, I need you to... This is your version. This is your rejection therapy that we talked about in episode 3.
No, just send me nice messages about your LG chocolate.
And if you want to look at the negative messages, just log on to TikTok.
But I love old phones. I love new phones with slight twists. I love transition devices. I love it.
Good rec, man.
I love it all.
I've got a recommendation this week.
What is it? Fucking light bulbs that when you clap, they... Sorry.
Let me promote my cousin's coffee business. This is not a paid ad, but I just think it's the best coffee ever. So I've got a coffee machine. You know, I've entered my coffee era.
And your hunk era.
And my hunk era.
It's coffee and hunk.
It's coffee and hunk era. That's very much what 34 is going to be for me. You're trying to work out.
I was trying to work out some sort of joke in my head.
No.
Hunkle coffee.
Hunk coffee?
Hunk
coffee?
Get on, carry on.
Anyway, I've entered my coffee era and I've got a coffee machine, which I absolutely adore. And the coffee I use is Fire and Flow coffee.
What did you say?
Fire and Flow.
Fire as in flames?
Yes.
Flow as in...
As in flowing. Yes, as in the flow. Genuinely, and I'm not saying this, if it was shit, I wouldn't buy it. Sorry, Callum, my cousin. But it is just delicious. I'm using I think it's the Honduras bean at the moment, which is absolutely outstanding.
And that bean comes from?
I assume Honduras.
I would find it so funny if they
named
it
Guatemala.
That. And it was just somewhere else.
50% Guatemala. But yeah, so it's all very local coffee grown in South America and Africa. But generally, such good coffee. Do buy that if you like coffee beans, and they do it ground as well. So if you need
what's your discount you can get?
There's no discount because this isn't a sponsored message. It's just a thing of like, I really like this, so I'm going to give it to
great.
you.
So mine was look at your old phones and tell me how you feel.
Yeah.
Parsons was drink some coffee.
Yes, and guys, you can watch YouTube. If you so wish to watch YouTube, you can also like and subscribe and do rate us and review us. Probably not based on this episode, but rate us and review us if you have enjoyed us before.
I would say you can also listen on podcasts streams.
Oh, well, thank you for that add-in. Thanks for adding in there. What value you bring.
Right, get on with it.
You can, of course, come and watch me on tour if you so wish. We are on Bluesky and Instagram, by the way, at Parsons and Emslie. But if you want to buy tickets to my tour, it's josephparsons.co.uk/tour. Also, all links are in my Instagram at Joseph Parsons Comedy and at joseph.emslie if you want this beautiful.
Is that mine?
Yeah,
I didn't even know mine. Well done.
Don't worry, I'll do all the hard yards of knowing stuff, and you just turn up and talk. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, it's been a pleasure, and it's always a pleasure. It's never a chore. Be good to yourselves. All right. Bye-bye.
Bye.